Alright, let's talk about order and chaos. Order and chaos. The way I think about order and chaos is like in the form of a magnet. Alright? There's two poles to a magnet, the North Pole and the South Pole, right? What I'm trying to say is that order and chaos is like a spectrum. Okay? But at either extreme, see, it's different with order and chaos. It's different with good and bad than what most of you think. Alright? What most of you think is that on one end of the spectrum we have order, and on the other end of the spectrum we have chaos. That's what most of you think, right? That the North Pole is order, the South Pole of the magnet is chaos. And that you would probably also equate like the ideas of good, everything that's good on the side of order, and everything that's bad on the side of chaos. But this isn't necessarily true, all right? Because either extreme of order or an extreme of chaos is the same thing. It results in the same thing, all right? So I'll give it to you like this, like a world of complete and utter chaos would look like what you've seen in the shows and the movies, like these post-apocalyptic worlds where it's like every man for themselves. There's no such thing as like law and order. There's no order. It's a free-for-all. Basically, you would say that this is chaos, but this is how everything was at one point before we were quote-unquote civilized, right? There was no laws or any of this. It was a great free-for-all, and out of this free-for-all, certain people became established, and not really certain people, but certain ideologies became established in the world, and out of this state of chaos arose order. So this is the saying, or the motto of like Freemasons: order out of chaos. This is an evolutionary process, right? Now, that's a world of pure chaos, that post-apocalyptic world, right? Now, that's the extreme of chaos, right? The disorder of chaos. Now, let's take a look at the chaos of order. What if you had an extreme version of order on planet Earth? You might think that this is good, but it's not good, okay? An extreme form of order, what you would see is an ideology take over that is concerned with micromanaging every citizen. That they want to control the education of the citizens and their children. They want to control the sort of jobs that they're able to work, the sort of language that they're able to use. They want to control the sort of religious practices, the sort of spiritual ideology of the people, all of this. They want to strictly control all of this. It would be like the entire world being the world's strictest boarding school. You know what I mean? No private property. Everything would be public and managed by like a police force or like the military. You know what I mean? This is like your typical one world or a new world order sort of idea, or a new world order. You know what I mean? It would be this. This is the strict control policy. So you can see, even in a world of complete order, it still is very chaotic. Out of this order, there will become, out of this strict, tyrannical sort of order, which would be order to the extreme, out of this will come a rebellion, some sort of chaos. So out of order also arises chaos. You see, always is the same thing that happens when you get to the extreme. Now, this brings us back to the idea of the magnet or the spectrum that I'm saying. Most of you believe that you have a north and a south pole, or either extreme of the spectrum, and on one extreme, one polar opposite is order, and on the other end of the spectrum, or the other pole of the magnet, is chaos. But what if I told you that it would be more accurate to see it as at each pole, or at each extreme of the spectrum, is chaos. And in the middle, right in the middle, if there was a middle, this would be called order. Order is in the middle. This is the balance. This is the harmony. This is the peace. It's found right in the middle. But at either extreme, you'll find chaos. See, balance is important. You should ask the trapeze artist. Balance is important. Thankfully, though, when you wake up every day, you can find your natural equilibrium. You can find the balance all on your own, right? But if you were leaning a little bit too far to the left or right, it's possible you would develop muscle deformities, right? Your ankles, your heels, your leg, eventually your hips, your entire spine would be out of alignment. If you were just a little bit off balance for too long of a time, it would literally become an actual pain in your ass. You would throw you all out of alignment. Balance is necessary in all things. You can't hold any sort of extreme belief and then expect not to suffer for it, right? Balance is key. Moderation is key. Anyway, until next time, I hope you continue to free your mind.